Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm gamesplaining Bosk. The game of Bosk happens over 2 rounds. There are actually 4 seasons in the game, but 2 of those seasons are scoring seasons, so I talk about it as only having 2 rounds. In the first round, you'll be laying out these trees, which are numbered 1 through 4. In the second round, you'll be playing leaves. And we'll talk about that in a second. You'll notice that this side of the board has a little white line. So for a 3-player game, we would build out to the white line. You can't go on the white line. So you basically take this as the board size. For a 4-player game, you use the full board. And for a 2-player game, you use the other side of the board, which doesn't have the white line on it. So on the first half of the game, you're placing trees onto these lines of the board. So for example, you might place a tree just there. Let's just take these as the examples of what the board might look like. We would have all of the trees on the board by the end of the season. But what this is scoring is if you have the highest number of points, so say this number 2. So if we're scoring this line, which we'll mark with this little camper over here, red has a 2, purple has a 1. So red has won this line, which means red would get 2 points, purple would get 1 point. And that will be most of the lines. Whoever has the most points worth of trees on one line will get the 2 points. Whoever has the second most will get 1 point. Then we go along to the next line. Player red is the only player on that line, which means they get 3 points. And now this line, purple is the only player, so here you get 3 points. We would then move along the other lines. So purple is the only one on this line, which gives him 3 points as well. This line is equal. So both red and purple both have 2 points on that line. When a line is equal for the people in the first position, each player would only get 1 point. If there was a 3rd player or 4th player who had a higher number than 2 on that line, then both of them would get no points. So equal for second place is no points, equal for first place gives a point each. And then last one, he would get 3 points because he's the only one on that line. We then go on to the second half of the game. And the second half of the game is about the blowing of leaves off the trees that have been placed in the first half. Whoever is furthest back on the points track will select where the wind is coming in from. And this goes for 8 rounds. So on the first half of the rounds, you need to select a tree that has the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 for their appropriate spots. On the second half of the game, you can use any tree as marked by that asterisk. The arrow tells you which direction the wind is blowing, and purple being the first player would probably choose the number 4. Like that number 4 means that he's blowing 4 leaves off his tree. First place you can go to is in the direction of the wind, either side of the tree. So let's, for example, place him there. Then he has the choice of going for one of the 3, and he might go there, there, and there. That tree is then removed, and it goes over to the other player. Let's imagine the other player had a 1 here. The other player might go for a 7, and same rules apply, but now, so he's put down 2 leaves. If he puts a leaf here, he now has control of that area, but that costs him a leaf to place it there. He might do that again, costs him a leaf to place it there. If he only has 1 leaf, that 1 leaf can't be placed here. So he might place it there, for example. And then, once again, that tree is removed. If on a future turn, red wished to put a red leaf on there, that would not cost him any extra because he's covering his own leaf type, or here or here. If he wished to go there, obviously that would cost him the 2 again. Now, the first player is the player who's played the lowest number, so purple would then be the first player on the second round. The numbers on the leaves available to us go from 2 up to 8, but there is also this little guy, which is talking about him, otherwise known as the squirrel. What the squirrel is able to do is he can move, let's use the purple squirrel for example, he can move 3 positions in the direction of the wind. So let's imagine we've got up to here. Purple might play his squirrel card, noticing that you can only play each card once. So with that squirrel, he can go here, here, here. He could get all the way up to this position. It doesn't cost him any extra to put the squirrel in that position, but what that does is it stops anyone from being able to put a leaf over the top of the squirrel. If that's what the board looked like, obviously it's going to have a lot more stuff on it because there's been 8 trees that the wind has blown from. But if that's what the board looked like, we can come into the scoring, which is the winter section of the game. What you're looking at is majorities within each color of the map. So this one, red, is the only person who's got any points on this section. So red would get 8 points for that section. These sections are separated. So imagine this is what it looked like. This being equal, each player would get 4 points for that section. So red gets the points on that, purple gets the points on that. Again, purple is the only one with anything in this area, so here we get 8 points. Is the only one with anything in this area, so here we get 8 points for the squirrel. Purple has 2 in this area, red has 1, which means purple, being the winner of that area, would get 5 points, and red would get 3. And if there are any areas, this is more for a 3 or 4 player game, if there's any areas that have 2 players that are equal for the second most leaves in an area, the winner would get 5 points as normal, and the other 2 would get 1 point each. And that's pretty much the game. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.